Hey, what's up? What's
Bisa
good?
bisa nggak sih, nggak usah suara-suara sleep call gitu.
What's good, baby?
Wow.
The on-air personality's coming out.
Raise personality.
Three. Hello everyone.
What's good?
Yes, welcome back with podcast that very famous,
Yeah.
number one podcast in the world.
For sure.
Yes, podcast SMA
Pradita
Dirigantara
Dirigantara.
podcast.
So, what are we going to do today, Mr.
So-
Hassan?
This is different with the other podcast karena yang dulu saya pakai bahasa Indonesia, yang sekarang harus pakai bahasa Inggris.
Kenapa tuh?
Because we have a special guest from IU. What is NIU, Narin?
Northern Illinois University.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So because we have collaborations, SMA Pradita with NIU, so we do have summer camp.
Summer camp.
Yes.
So,
So without any further ado, this is our guest star, Mr. Mateo.
Happy to be on here. What an honor to be on the biggest podcast in the world.
for sure.
Yes, sir.
We're bigger than Lex Friedman podcast.
Okay, so sir, you may introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Hi. People here call me Mr. Mateo. This camera right here. Okay. Sorry. We could also call this the post-nap podcast because I just woke up not too long ago. So.
Oh, me too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
We
common
are-
thing
Yeah,
here.
we are.
Perfect. All right. Welcome back to the post-nap podcast. My name is Mateo. They call me Mr. Mateo here. I'm originally from Elgin, Illinois, and I attend Northern Illinois University. I'm a history major, trying to be a high school history teacher out back in Illinois. And I am one of a few guests here at SMA Pradita Dirigantara.
Wow.
Oh my god, this accent is so fluent outside that. So what do you think? Hassan?
Yes, I think Mr. Mateo is the most NIU delegates that have a big spirit here.
Yes, sir. Do you know that Mr. Mateo went to the what is that, like Pacara Bendera?
Morning flag
Yeah,
ceremony.
morning assembly.
Morning assembly.
There you go. And then he also follow us who woke up at 3 a.m.
Yes, that was crazy.
That's why I needed the nap today.
That's awesome. So, do you? I'm curious today, honestly. Like, why do you want to go here?
Well, truthfully, this was a part of an experience that was offered to us as pre-service teachers at NIU. And so what was to be expected was, I guess a lot in that we didn't know, or as pre-service teachers, what to expect here. But as I've been here, I can say that it's kind of reshaped. But it did, like, expectations and reality were very different, but for the better, in my opinion. I've had a great time here, and I guess why I'm here now is to have a great time with all of you. That might be different than when I came here, but now it's very clear.
Oh, that's not me. So we both crying.
I am also crying, but again, it might be the post-nap. I'm not sure. Sensitive eyes.
So sorry. You have been here for 2 weeks or more than that.
2 weeks,
Yes,
3 weeks.
About two.
About 2 weeks and some change, yeah.
Yeah. What changed that you feeling that this is the most changes in my life after I living for 2 or 3 weeks here?
Oh, like culture shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right off the bat, where I come from, they usually don't have call to prayer over speakers. Not in my particular city, anyway. So that was interesting, just as knowing that I'm in a new spot. Climate, geography, very different than the Midwest of the United States. Out here, is a bit more tropical, a bit more volcanic at times. So that was interesting. But, another big thing is just the kindness and welcoming nature of most of the people I've met out here is incredible. It's a beautiful thing, honestly. Very proud, especially as a Midwest person. In the U.S., Midwest, there's a stereotype that we're all like a little bit friendlier than the rest. And I think you guys might give us a run for our money sometimes in how friendly you are. So that's gets a real compliment to you and honestly all of Indonesia, or at least the island of Java, because that's where I've been. But I'd like to give that credit to all of Indonesia.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising that you say that you could dab with the tropical island here. Like, honestly, I'm not a big fan of this humidity. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is hot, and also I always try to avoid this kind of hotness.
Mm.
And you actually came from Midwest, which is cold, isn't it? And also Illinois. It is like more far away to the north, and it's kind of cold, I would say.
Mm.
And how could you adapt with Indonesian environment? Because like it's like 360 degrees change is different.
Yeah, I mean, we are almost exactly on the opposite side of the world, or at least as far away from home as I think we could be. It's not always cold where I'm from. It's like a temperate climate, I believe. So like we get cold winters for sure, snowmen, Olafs,
Yeah.
But in the summer it can get kind of hot, pretty hot, humid even. And beyond that, even though I'm from Illinois and I spend most of my life in Illinois, I actually lived a year in South Florida in Boca Raton. And even though it's, I believe, subtropical down there, it's very similar in humidity and heat to here. So maybe I had some special preparation that the others didn't. Not to say that they're not acclimatizing just fine, but, I think that gave me a little bit of an edge. Beyond that, just lots of sunscreen, got to protect the skin from the UV rays out here. But that's true for which camera? Which camera am I looking into? That one? Everybody wear sunscreen. It's good for your skin. Doesn't matter who you are. Got to protect yourself from the sun.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit far with the topics that night. I just wanna ask,
Mm.
how do you feeling after being a bule?
A bule.
So
Will you
here-
please explain the
a
bule?
is a foreigner.
Yes.
So, do you feeling anything that when you walk, just walk and someone come to you, "Hello, sir, wanna take picture?" Or
Yeah.
sir, camera, sir.
Well, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Being a bule or a foreigner out here, and then combining that with the friendly nature of everybody that I've met means that I almost feel like a celebrity in some sort of way. I've had people pull me aside to take pictures with me, which has been both very heartwarming and at times very funny. One example being when the kids do it, so if adults do it, it's very like, can I take a picture with you? Usually is what I assume they're saying. And then they go and they take a picture, and kids are also like that, but sometimes the kids, they might not know the social protocol the same way. I remember when we were out on an excursion one of these past weekends, there was a group of kids who wanted to take a picture with me and my other NIU delegate teacher, Mr. Austin.
Oh, yeah.
And so they went to take a picture with him, and it was a big group thing. And then one of the other ones, it was a young girl, I want to say she was like 9, was like, I want to take a picture with you too. And they're like, okay. And so she came over, and then her friends tried to come over, and they went, yeah, no, and like pushed them away. Like it was like, no, this is my picture. And they're just like, one of these.
Oh yeah.
And so it was just the contrast in those 5 seconds was really funny. But no, it's been, like I said, I feel like a celebrity in some way, and I mean, which is cool for a guy like me who's just your average guy back home.
Yeah, that's true though. I mean, like, when you're feeling like a celebrity in a country, but some way you've been welcoming as a celebrity, it seems odd, and you would say like it's kind of happy enough to say to feel that, and probably just like, where were you went to the excursion?
Oh man, which one was this one? This was when we went rafting. I believe it was. Oh, somebody's got to help me out here. We've been on a couple different excursions, and I'm at a loss of sleep, so those two things combined make my brain a little fuzzy. I believe we were explained that it wasn't the largest river. It was the second or third largest river on the island. possibly in Yogyakarta or that
Mm.
general area, I believe. Don't quote me on that. That could be wrong. But we were definitely a few hours away from the school.
That's far away though.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We've been on a couple different excursions now away from the school, just exploring different parts of the island and or just visiting different cities. And it's honestly been an amazing experience, just seeing what life is like in a completely different country.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So, sir, actually, at my first class with Mr. Lempa,
Mm.
Mr. Lempa ever say amazing story about you when you come here?
Oh,
and
the airplane
you just
story.
fall asleep.
Okay.
And you lost your...
I
May you tell that story?
yeah.
Wait, how is it?
Oh, you don't know this one?
I don't know.
Oh,
You
boy.
You
I've-
can tell it to people, you know.
I've told this story, I want to say 3 or 4 different times now that I've been here, but I'm happy to relay it again. So just let me tell you from the start.
Oh shit.
So me, or rather I should say, I was supposed to go with the other NIU delegates here all at the same time, roughly speaking. We had one that was in Cambodia, so she was going to be on her own, take a separate flight here. But the rest were all in Illinois with myself, and we were supposed to take a flight out of O'Hare. I don't remember which day, but early in the morning. And from there, we would take a couple different detours before we finally got to Indonesia. And so, of course, let me give you the context. This is about a year of planning, right? We got accepted into this program, and, it's this amazing program. Hey, we learned all about it. We go through different interview processes. We write essays, and then we get accepted, and it's huge. And then from there, we go to different in-person meetings, Zoom calls, which I believe we were all present for, yeah.
Yes.
So we go through all these international Zoom calls and in-person meetings. Finally, here we go. And so the night before my flight, I'm getting ready to go to the airport or not even, to just be at a house for a ride at about, I want to say 2 in the morning. So I finish packing my bag and I'm all excited, but I'm very tired. So I say, okay, I'm going to set 3 different alarms so that I can take a 45-minute nap, get up, I'll have time to brush my teeth, wash my face, head on out. It'll be easy breezy. Quick nap. I'll be tired, but whatever. So I set the alarms, I go to sleep, and I'm supposed to wake up, like I said, around 2. And when I wake up, I hear the birds outside, and I look at my phone, 37 missed calls, and it's 4 a.m. Oh man, when my heart dropped, it was, yeah. And I realized immediately what had happened, and I couldn't believe it. So I found out later. I didn't know why. At that moment, I just rushed out. But apparently, I set 3 silent alarms. Yeah, I thought it was going to be the radar noise, the standard iPhone, alarm noise. But no, 3 silent alarms, which did nothing for me. And so I had to rush out the door. I got real quick clothes on, grabbed my stuff, packed into my car, drove out, got onto the tollway. I never drive the tollway. I don't like the tollway. Drove straight to O'Hare Airport from DeKalb, for those of you who know Illinois, which I don't know how many of you out there know, but decent drive. And so I drove faster than I've ever driven, which you should not do. But I was trying so hard to catch my flight, which was at, I think 6. And like I said, I woke up around 4. It's at least an hour out drive. So it's not looking good. I'm freaking out. I am just full panic mode, full stress, full shame. How could I do this? How could I sleep through my alarms? Because I didn't know they were silent yet. So I rushed to the airport. And of course, all along the way, I'm making little mistakes. I'm like, I got to fill up gas. Oh, why didn't I fill up gas the night before? I didn't know I'd be here the night before. I get to the airport. I get into the wrong parking lot. I'm like, no, this is the daily lot. And I'm on the wrong side. Whatever. Park the car, leave the stuff leave the keys in the car, rush through the airport. I get to the ticket booth. I'm like texting, hey, I'm here. I'm going to do whatever. They tell me I'm too late. I'm like, what? They're like, you'd never make it. So even though I have an extra 40 minutes left, they've already decided that I'm done. And I'm crushed. Oh, I was crushed. I felt so bad. I felt this mix of like, just embarrassment and shame because I've been telling people about this again for better half of a year, and now I have to go home and tell them that I can't because I missed my flight. I overslept. So for
That would be lame though.
yeah, that would be lame. That would be lame. So I sat on the floor of the airport with my luggage like this for about 5 minutes, and then I got this feeling, what I would consider stress, maybe anxiety, but also motivation. And so I don't know what it is, but there was this spark of crazy where I immediately called my dad and said, because he was updated the whole time, what if I bought a new ticket? So after talking with him about it, calling my mom, talking with her about it, and talking with myself about it, I decided that I was going to try to buy a whole new ticket, which tickets are expensive, and I am a college student, or at least, so not a lot of money, but it is what it is. Luckily, I got some support from my parents. They didn't help me with the whole thing, but they helped me a lot. And so I started searching. I started looking through all these different tickets, and at this point, I had to figure out, where am I going to go next? Because the flight that I missed already took off. So the other NIU delegates are now on a plane. So their flight path, my original flight path, was to Los Angeles, so Chicago to Los Angeles, LA to, I believe it was Haneda Airport in Tokyo. Then they needed to get out of Haneda Airport and drive to Narita Airport in Tokyo, and then fly out of there to Jakarta, where they would meet up with your representatives, with some of the teachers. So that was the initial plan. Now I missed that first flight. So by the time I'm trying to figure out my ticket, they're already in the air. I can't message them back. So this is a judgment call on my part. Do I decide to fly out without them knowing, and then we figure it out from there? And like I said, I had the support, and I had the little bit of crazy. So I after, I want to say 10-15 minutes of searching, I found a ticket that I could roughly afford. And it was straight from O'Hare in Chicago to Haneda in Tokyo. And then it's a connecting flight, so Tokyo to Jakarta. The problem is that I was going to show up late for both of them. So by the time I got to Haneda, they would have left the airport. And by the time that I got to Jakarta, they would have left Jakarta. I would have been like 4 hours late. But I said, I'll figure it out. So like I said, I bought this ticket. I go through security, and I get on this plane ride for an international flight to a country I've never been to. And I have...
Oh, where is that?
It's Japan. It's straight to Japan. So I'm going straight to Haneda Airport. And I send them texts, but they don't go through because they're in the air right now. So I get on my plane, and now I start my 13-hour flight out. And oh man, that was a long time to sit and think about my decisions. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's you got to really sit and look at yourself when you're trapped in, economy class just like this, By the way, I didn't have a window seat, so there was no sleeping on that flight. I had my nice accidental few-hour nap, and that was all I had for that night. But whatever. So we fly out on the plane. And I make it through the flight, and I spent that flight just watching movies the whole time. Yeah. It was very interesting in and of itself, but for sake of time, I'll cut that part short. I make it to Haneda, and now I have all the messages flooding in. Oh, no, wait, no, I didn't, because I had to get through Japanese customs first, which... Everybody else, by the way, think about this for a minute. The other NIU delegates, they're all together with our professor. And so they went in as a group. I got off the plane by myself. And probably the most foolish thing I could have done, instead of following people off the plane, I went straight to the bathroom. So by the time I got out, there was nobody I recognized in the airport. Now, luckily, there was a few signs in English. So I knew generally, but it was still pretty confusing. I had no signal. I've never been to Japan before. I was like, oh boy.
How did you survive though in Japan?
I thank the efficiency of the Japanese people every single day, because at least at that airport, I got so much help and so much kindness and so much, like they pushed me through fast, which was very nice. I walked up with the most confused bule face that I could, and I'd find somebody and I'd say, English. Sometimes it'd be a yes, sometimes it'd be a no. But they pointed me in the right direction. They pointed me towards paperwork. I just filled out the paperwork. Then I'd hold it up, maybe hold up my boarding pass, and they'd say, connecting flight. And then they'd point me to wherever. So got through security. Cool.
So here we can conclude that Bules is also human.
Yeah. That's a Indonesian term, but translatable anywhere.
So you went flight and from Japan to Jakarta is like late 4 hours.
So yep, that's the thing. So I'm in Haneda. I finally get data and or Wi-Fi, and I'm able to text, and I'm going back and forth with my NIU team. And thankfully, our professor was very like grateful that I could find a flight, and he's like, "Cool, we'll figure it out from here. You're good." Awesome. So in my eyes, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I made the right decision, and now I'm gonna be safe. And I'll be 4 hours later than them in Jakarta, but maybe they can just wait 4 hours and then we can drive. Because for those who don't know, Jakarta is a good 7 or 8 hour drive away from this school. So it still would have been like they would have had to wait a while. So I'm like, all right, cool, we're good. And then I find out that on their way from Haneda Airport to Narita Airport, both in Tokyo, my team missed their flight.
That's a lucky day.
So now, because I've been stuck in Haneda Airport because I've got a connecting flight, they have to figure out what to do. And I'm, instead of being late to Jakarta, I'm actually going to be much earlier. So now I'm going, instead of being like, oh, I'm going to show up late, sorry guys, I have to go to Jakarta by myself. And nobody's going to be there supposedly to pick me up. No. But what can I do? I'm just trapped in Haneda Airport. So I did what I think any rational, reasonable, and logical person would do. I got ramen and I just relaxed. I was just like, this is too much stress for today. I'm going to eat some ramen and hang out.
I don't know, if I'm in your position, probably I'm going to be that here.
I'll tell you what, the ramen helped. It was delicious. I don't know if that says a lot about the Haneda Airport or so little about the U.S., but the ramen was some of the best I've ever had. But we figure out a plan. They're going to stay the night in Tokyo, which I'm completely jealous over because I'm like, a night in Tokyo sounds awesome. I've never been. I'm going to be trapped in the airport. And then I'm going to take my flight to Jakarta, and everybody who is going to pick them up is just going to pick me up, and then we'll wait for them as they get off. And so that's what we do. I board my next flight like 7 hours later after waiting in the airport. Got some souvenirs, of course. Overpriced airport souvenirs.
Overpriced.
Yes, I know the things in the airport.
I get on my plane, and we fly to Jakarta. And weirdly enough, I found out that on my flight, both flights, I didn't know this until I was already in Haneda, I actually had some more people from NIU there, completely separate to my trip, like deans of specific colleges, who were also on their way here for a ceremony that occurred last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I believe a honorary doctorate or an honorary degree was given to a princess here. So there was a ceremony about all that. Anyways, they were there, but I had a flight with them. So while I'm waiting in Haneda Airport, I recognize the people and I hear them talking about college. I'm like, hey, where are you guys from? And they said NIU. And I was like, no way. Me too. Just so happened that my like backup ticket I bought all by myself also had NIU people on it. Now, unfortunately, they were going a different direction than me. They had a whole different plan, but it was just part of the trip that I thought I should mention. But yeah, so after that, the story gets a bit just easier. I mean, I make it to Jakarta. And also, I had an initial shock of how do I do a visa? Because I've never had to go to a country where I had to go through the visa process. Ignorant me didn't know. And so I'm standing there and I'm getting messages on WhatsApp from different members of the school saying, hey, where are you? What's going on? And I'm like, I'm not sure. What's going on? What do you mean visa? How much money do I need? Can I go take out money now? So a little more awkward, but we got through it. I had some people come in and come meet me. Got through the visa process and we got out of there. I got picked up, bag secured, we're good. And then finally after, I don't remember how much time. Not too much time. I think it was much later in the day. We picked up the rest of the team that I was supposed to meet there, but instead they met me there. So that is the now infamous plane story about how I still got here despite all of the hiccups. And I really like that story because as I've been telling my students, in that 5 minutes that I was sitting on the ground there, really just hating everything and myself, I had a decision to make, which was, do I give up or do I keep trying? And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't much of a conscious decision so much as it was just kind of like working off that gut reaction you get. But I tried. And even though I absolutely could have failed, every day that I'm here, every day that I'm in Indonesia, that I'm at Pradita, that I'm talking to my students, the fact that I'm talking with you guys on this podcast right now, every single moment I sit here and I think, what if I had given up in those 5 minutes? I would be currently in my apartment in DeKalb, probably feeling very sorry for myself, still embarrassed and ashamed and just living a normal life and just like, nothing crazy. But instead, because I was willing to just give it a shot, and I'm not normally willing to do that, so this is a big moment for me, I get to experience all this amazing stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll say that. Needless to say that we should appreciate Mr. Matthew, your parents today.
Oh yeah, shout out to you, mom and dad.
They helped you a lot,
Yeah.
if you probably not supported by your parents, like in the airport,
Mhm.
it would be much more complicated.
Absolutely. If this inspires any parents out there, I mean, I couldn't have done it without mine. And I know a lot of kids they just need a nice pat on the back or like a go for it, give it a try, a safety net so that they can take some risks and be brave. I think that's a beautiful thing. So, yeah.
It's an awesome.
That's
Itu jarang terjadi di Indonesia, Rin.
Like honestly, if I'm in your position, probably I'm gonna be dad, like dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just that moment probably gonna be my biggest problem.
Yeah. So we can't say to our mom, our dad, usually like, Mom, I'm missing my dad. I want to buy a new ticket. I think they will buy it, but after they kill you.
Yeah, that's
They'll kill you
fair.
first, and then they'll buy it.
Very valid. I was told by students here that ASEAN parents different than parents in the U.S., so totally valid.
Yeah, you're probably gonna say like, oh yeah, sure, for sure. And then you buy it first. After that, you meet her. She probably said that. Why did you miss that shit?
Yeah, and it will take a long time for you to explain that.
And I don't know if you could survive, but you probably dead in the place.
So, at the first time you came to Jakarta, right? So what do you feel like? You came and you go out to the airport and you haven't met the NIU delegates, and did you feel that everybody seeing you like that and they just like,
I think you're being,
bully?
maybe the wow was a bit too generous, but
I mean, we're benevolent people.
it's true. Very, very kind people. It's just there's not too much to wow right here. So well, when I got off the plane and I was in the airport, I was immediately like, okay, now I can read the alphabet because this one, same alphabet but still different language. And I did notice I got stares, which not as many as I would come to get because I was in an international airport, right? So I'm sure that there's plenty of people. I mean, on the plane, there were plenty of different looking people from different places, but I did get some looks. It was interesting. And then to, of course, like enter Jakarta, the city proper, um, I was just taken aback by, like I said, just the size of it all. It's a big city, very big city. And I'm from the general Chicago area, but still, it's just interesting nonetheless. So to answer the question, I think the biggest things for me was just knowing again what a city looks like out here versus like where it is back, like what it's like back home. Which, by the way, traffic very different, very different. Yeah, but same rules applied. I mean, it's people living their lives, people going to work, having a good time and or a regular day. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that answered the question. If not, feel free to get more specific.
For sure. So, for now, because we are in the Japanese city, so we
Yes.
would like to learn Japanese language.
Do you know like Japanese language?
Yeah, actually, we're both not in Japanese, so
Yeah.
Okay.
we're not having good Japanese.
Yeah, we learning. Right?
Yeah, we learning.
Me too. If you couldn't tell, I'm also not Javanese.
Well, I mean that's so clear.
So maybe we will learn different language also. So besides Japanese, we have Ternate accent. So I'm from Ternate. It's from East Indonesians, actually on North Molucas atau Maluku Utara. So Indonesians are big nations like
Of course.
So we have three parts of Indonesians, which is the West. Narin, for example,
Palembang.
is from the West, Sumatra and other things, and the center,
Yeah.
which is Kalimantan, and the east, which is Papua, North Malukas, Maluku, and the others.
Yeah.
So
it's
what
like
makes
border.
difference about the West Indonesians and the East Indonesians? Mostly the East Indonesian are speaking louder than West Indonesians. So like me, I can speak quite like a small voice. It's hard for me. So at the first time I came to Boyolali to the city, everyone talks like I don't hear what they talk, and I always like, huh? What? Can you tell me? I didn't hear what you say. And they also told me like your voice is too loud. But that was what we do in our city like that.
So like I mean like we both I don't know like different places have that different volume of voice, my place we have that tone of getting angered, like we don't think, and also we're like ferocious in our language, but somehow we talk it into like really low volumes of our language in Palembang, Sumatra. In that place also we much more use not like specific word that, although it is typical with Indonesian language, but we have a different language on like the last letter of a word. Like in Palembang, would you like say Wong Kitogalo? Do you know Wong Kitogalo means?
No idea.
So Wong Kitogalo means like it is us. So Wong Kitogalo is like a what is it called, like a word that people believe that's actually from Palembang.
So can you talk? Can you say that word?
Yeah, just say that Wong Kitogalo.
Wong Kitogalo.
Wow.
Did I do that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
sure.
Sure, he says. Maybe,
You
maybe,
certify.
just for now.
You have like
so
a slogan. I mean.
yeah, slogan. But you know, in the East Indonesians, we cannot have a different voice of E. So maybe in here we have A,
Yeah.
but mostly in the East Indonesian we always use A. So
Mm.
anything that contains E is like uh for examples work in English but in Indonesia is kerja. We say yeah,
Kerja.
yeah, maybe that's not kerja, but it's hard for us to say like very like that. So
Mm.
the most famous word from East Indonesia is torang pasti bisa.
Mm.
That's a slogan for big national competitions.
Mm.
We call that sport competitions, national sport competitions that ever occur in East Indonesians. So that means we can do it. So in East Indonesia we say torang pasti bisa.
Mm.
Could you say that?
Oh yeah, I
Torang.
saw as soon as you both looked at me. All right, oh, say it again.
Torang
Torang
pasti
pasti
bisa.
bisa.
Okay, now you are East Indonesian.
It's an honor.
I mean, that's so awesome. Like, how do you could learn language so easily?
Oh, trust me, I don't. I've been trying to learn Spanish since like 7th grade. Still not fully there.
Let's see. I mean, like you experienced that. I mean, Spanish and Indonesian has that same almost similar.
There's a lot of
alphabet.
yeah, the alphabet is pronounced very similarly. Honestly, sometimes I get confused because I want to switch to the Spanish pronunciations as opposed to the Indonesian ones. But it's really, for me, my skill is not in actually learning the language as much as it is in just trying to perfect the accent. So the words that I say, the very few words that I say, I'd like to try to say well, if possible.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
The one language that I very want to learn it is Spanish actually, but I think it's very hard in the other language. Like, you have to. I think even the alphabet itself it's hard for
It's
me.
kind of hard. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the accent like that. But I like to hear someone that using a Spanish. Yeah, Spanish.
Yeah. Could you show some Spanish word?
Some Spanish words.
A sentence.
A sentence. Hola, me llamo Mateo. Soy un maestro de historias y see, and like for all the Spanish speakers listening, they're like, "Oof, that was a little rough, my guy," but that's all
For
right.
us, like, oh my god, he's dancing. What does that mean?
I said, "Hi, my name is Mateo Marson. I'm a teacher of history. History teacher.
Me llamo.
Me llamo Mateo. So my name is Mateo. So in this case, if me llamo means my name is, how would you say your name is?
Me llamo Narin.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Me llamo Hasan.
Ah,
Spanish people.
I, yeah.
Yeah, sir, because Indonesians have different cultures and also we have also many different places that it was very beautiful.
Mhm.
So actually we have like not maybe a stereotype. West Indonesians is maybe famous with mostly with big buildings like that, a mall,
That's
and
true.
and then the other things that related with a good infrastructure.
Right.
Yes, but we have also in the East Indonesians, it's not good at infrastructure, but we have a good places that
Yeah.
such as
Mountains.
mountains, and we have a good-
Beaches.
yes, river, and I think that's the most beautiful one. So
Mhm.
I think if you want to find an feeling of you feel your life and you want to enjoy your life,
Mhm.
and I think it's good for you if you want to go out through the world, like you want to feel your life lonely like that. I think it's good
Yeah.
for you to go to the
To the
East
east.
Nations and
He's
you,
promoting his place.
yes.
Of course, gotta
That's
represent.
good.
I mean, West also has that
Yeah.
really good infrastructure. Like,
Mhm.
we have that tons of buildings like skyscraper, and also for, I mean, like frankly,
Mhm.
the place in West is not as beautiful as in the East. That's matter of fact. But West has that spicy food you probably want to say.
Oh, the spiciest food, huh?
Yeah, we have like tons of food. You probably would say that this is the best food ever. Have you ever tried rendang?
Yes, of course.
That's from West.
That's from West.
That's
Oh,
from
well,
West, baby.
West's got the food
What?
then. All
Do
right.
you have anything?
We call that papeda.
Papeda.
Bapeda.
So it's a different things with the West. So for the food from the West and from the East of is different things. You know, because it have a different taste also,
Yeah.
and you know, like maybe we have a different mouth also like sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I cannot eat West food,
Mm,
but West food sometimes cannot eat the East food. So
I see.
I think it's if you want to really taste all the food Indonesian, maybe your mouth will like mixing
Mixing.
and I think after that you cannot eat a food in American.
It's very different here, I'll tell you that. The spice profile is very
Yes.
different. The sugar and salt content, very different. The amount of rice, very different.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Anything we eat with rice.
Yeah.
Everything. Even,
Yes.
even noodles. We put it rice.
Yes.
Noodles with rice, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Wow.
how do you feel like first time eating as Indonesians eaters?
Repeat the question.
Like, we eat with rices and we also eat with spoon and how do you call it? Garpu?
Fork.
Yeah,
Fork.
fork.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you understand that? Oh my god.
I just-
Ah.
I didn't know the word. I just knew what I've been eating with the whole time.
So, how do you feel with that?
Well, I mean, in general, if I'm just commenting on differences with Indonesian food or eating as compared to what I'm used to in the Midwest of the United States, my first, I guess, confusion or culture shock was the fact that it's a fork and a spoon as opposed to a fork and a knife. Because for us, that's standard, even if it's like a butter knife, but usually it's a fork and a knife. Spoon only comes if there's like liquid involved. But for you guys, like, no knives, just
Yes.
fork and spoon.
Yeah.
Even though we eat steak,
Yeah.
actually I eat steak with
Fork and spoon? Yeah.
for easier, you know, it's
Yeah.
hard for me
Easier to cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be real tender if you want to use that spoon. Good incentive. So that was a big thing for me. It was just, wow, I gotta get used to using the spoon more often. Not that I've never seen a spoon before, but you know, like I said, I don't usually use a spoon for a steak. So, as for the food content, I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I knew generally where I was at, you know, geographically, I should say. So I knew there'd be some influences from neighboring South Asia and East Asia, but I didn't know entirely what food was going to look like. I can say that, like I said, talking about the spices, it's not just spiciness, although there is a lot of spicy food, and that is not for me. Oh man, I've been getting used to it, but it shed a lot of tears in my eyes. Is all that spicy food?
What the worst have you ever tried?
I don't know about the worst, but yesterday on one of our excursions, we got prepared a lunch, all of us teachers, and they had these noodles. And
Gacoan.
sure, I don't know. They were thin, clear brown noodles, and it was like a small portion compared to the rest of what we had. You know, chicken, rice, vegetables, and I tried it, and it was so good, but my lips burned for the next 20
Gacoan.
minutes.
Gacoan.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Gachuan, endorse him.
Yeah, it was really, really. I finished it all. It's just my mouth was like, "Why did you do that?" And my tongue said, "You know why? It tasted that good."
Yeah, Gachuan is kind of weird, but you know, like it's feeling like you having a girlfriend. I mean, it's bad, but
You're gonna say you might want to explain a little more on that.
So from food, girlfriend, it's near.
yeah, near. So,
Near.
Yeah.
like, you hate it, but you also want it.
Now, if he's got a girlfriend listening,
No,
he doesn't mean that. He doesn't
I
mean
didn't have a girlfriend. That's all good. That's all good.
that. You're not promoting yourself well for being a single man.
No, I'm just.
No,
The
you're
name
good.
is
You're good.
Narin. You
Yeah,
can
you're good.
check the Instagram here. He's still single.
No, I'm
He-
single.
see,
I'm single. I'm not
he
looking
he
for
said
more.
he said hate, but there's a lot good things after as well.
I mean, let's have another one.
Let's move on.
So talk about a girlfriend. What do you think about girl in Indonesia?
This is wow. We went from one spicy topic to another. Very friendly here, I'll tell you that. Since being here, I've had a lot of forward encounters with people giving me compliments.
Ooh, what's
yeah.
that?
Just compliments on to be vague. Compliments on appearance, and questions of marital status. So it's just in that regard, you could just chalk that up to the country's very friendly. That's what I got for that one.
Let's go though. Let's get
What
the food.
well,
Talk about
you
the
put me in the spotlight. What do you think about the girls around here, huh?
Smart.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Because of
Yes.
course, my perceptions of the women I've encountered on these excursions, but I'm sure that the people who you're in school with would love to hear what you think of your fellow classmates.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you think there?
They are like cool and smart and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna say that like Indonesians. I've went to United States, so I know like I probably
Where in the
could-
U.S. if you don't mind?
Probably
Where in the U.S. if you don't mind me
New
asking?
Mexico.
New Mexico,
Yes,
really?
Albuquerque,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you-
I mean, for both, not for all women, I would say like the human itself, like,
yeah.
and here is much more openness, but sometimes, we just like love being together, like, togetherness is number one, but
Mm.
United States, they really respect about privacy,
I
and
see.
that's how I could see the difference. But I love both environments, so I just want to say that.
That's totally fair.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The one things that make US and Indonesian different is Narin before go to US. He's very fat, you know.
Oh, you want to see it?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, you probably could open in my Instagram and then.
He has a big body, but after he backs to the nation,
Well,
Well, listen, I'm not here to body shame, so there's no shame in
Yeah, no
in
shame.
whatever size you're
Yeah.
in.
But-
But I, going to the U.S., I would imagine I'm going to gain weight, not lose weight, just by the way we eat.
too much here.
Yeah, it's so I'm surprised. So you went to the U.S. and lost weight.
but
That's
mostly my
crazy.
friends that back from the summer program, so they follow some program. So
They went to Chicago too.
yes,
Really?
so 3 of my friends go to Chicago.
Mm.
But before he go to, I think he gained many. Wait, yes.
Oh, we got a video. on
Yeah,
that.
we got the videos.
Really
Narin.
good food.
So this is Narin.
Well, that's me.
I
Before
see.
go to America for 1 year.
I mean, that was a lot of process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let's not ignore the fact that those of you on camera can't see. He's pulling out some moves right now. He's dancing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Could we see some of those moves here in the
Yeah,
studio?
let's go.
Oh, what's this you're doing? You got some of these going on?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'd like
I kind of westernized,
I'd like to see some of those moves. You think you could do that in your little corner?
Like this.
Yeah, do some of those.
Hey!
That's pretty good.
I mean, it was like a lot of process, I went through a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things of sports stuff.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, he's handsome, He was handsome also.
He was handsome then, and he's handsome now.
He was.
There you go.
Thank you.
With us, cute.
Absolutely. See, all you gotta say is now everybody in the world can see I can pull off both. It don't matter.
Well, that's.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
But it was a lot of process.
Yeah, a lot
I went
of.
to swimming. I went to football. American football.
Oh
It was
yeah.
a lot of
American
and
football.
He broke my hands also.
Oh,
So I went back here. Remember that I broke my hand.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the first thing there's like one, I don't know, it's like metal inside of my bone.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it
that's
was
a
because of the football things.
yeah. Football can hurt your hand if you're not paying attention. Behind the camera, she didn't even look up. She doesn't even know right now. She has no idea.
Really?
So yeah, American football, not football.
Yeah.
Talk about football.
Oh
Yes.
boy.
Oh.
I want to have you know right off the bat, they put me in sports club, but I am the least sporty person that you'll meet in America. So I'll try my best. Please go ahead.
Sure. So we both are football fan.
Yeah.
Do you know
No,
Manchester United?
American football, but
I was about to say
soccer.
football or football.
Football, soccer.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm a biggest, not a biggest. I just watch football like a normally person
Yeah.
and love a team, but I don't really love it now because I'm a Liverpool.
Liverpool fans.
But
Do you know Liverpool?
I've heard of the city.
yeah, so now
Liverpool is good. We got Mo Salah.
We've got a disagreement in the studio.
but now I think I'm not a Liverpool.
Well, probably he is going to be an Al Nassr FC. With
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
I'm a big fan of Al Nassr. You know, I just from before Ronaldo. I don't know who is Ronaldo, but I already being a Al Nassr fan.
Yeah, I'm Al Nassr fan since day one.
Yes, since Al Nassr still play in.
United States. I'm just kidding. I don't know with that. But how big actually is football, soccer in the United States?
Well, I can tell you right now, you might as well have been speaking Bahasa because half the stuff I had no idea what you were talking about. But you know, it's not very big. Our top three sports, I think, don't quote me on this, anybody, are football, American football. So you know, NFL. And then basketball is coming up on the heels. That's getting real popular, NBA.
That's true.
And then baseball used to be America's number one pastime, but truthfully, I don't know if that's number three or if it's something like hockey. Because, well, that might be me having regional bias. Blackhawks, everybody loves them where I'm at. So maybe it's just regional bias. I don't know. But number three, I'm not as confident about. Soccer or football is not. I'd say it's very low on our sports list, above something like cricket, but still pretty low. However, in my area specifically, I'm in a very I'm in an area where there's a lot of Mexican immigrants and or descendants of Mexican immigrants, and many still love football or football, soccer. And so I think that the more influence we have from other countries that are big into soccer and football, I think that the stronger it's going to have a foothold, no pun intended, in the U.S. Because like I said, in my area, I remember, I'll never forget, you guys were talking about teams, and I know this is completely different, but it's just it's a core memory, I guess, from 6th grade, I think. I was at the lunch table cafeteria at Lincoln Elementary in Hoffman Estates, for those of you who know that area. And my friends, who majority of whom were of Mexican descent, came up to me and they said, "Who do you like better, America or Chivas?" And I was like, "What is that?" And they're like, "What do you mean? What is it?" That was like the moment where they realized I was a little bit different. Like, "What do you mean? What is that?" And like, "It's teams." Like, "Teams for what?" Well, anyways, these are Mexican soccer teams, and I picked Chivas. I didn't even know what that means. It means goats. I picked the goats because they're the goats.
Greatest of all things.
Yeah,
Oh,
greatest of
all
all time.
time.
Yeah. So I picked Chivas. So from that point onward, whenever somebody asks, I just say Chivas and move on because I don't know what else to say. I have no idea any other teams.
You know, Lionel Messi like that.
Yeah.
I've
Messi.
I've heard of him and
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of him.
You know, Messi goes to an American team right now.
I've heard news of that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Inter Miami.
And that's why I think, like I said, like the future of soccer in America seems bright, at least brighter than it has been in the past. There's a real chance that it could take off.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
It would be interesting to finally have the U.S. enter the rest of the world's, favorite pastime.
Yeah, but I see that US have a great basketball.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like a really good basketball game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, and then right now like Steph Curry.
Chicago represent Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, what was that? Oh well, I was gonna say again, I'm not too big into sports, right? So I know there's plenty of people. If any of my friends at home are listening right now, they're like beating the desk at a chance to talk about basketball. I mean, some of my students, Group 7, shout out Group 7, they're beating the desk right now at a chance to talk about basketball. Some of my people even wrote to me how they their favorite team was the Nuggets, and I was like, I forgot that was even a team.
That's
Yeah, so
bandwagon though.
yeah, we don't judge here, especially since I don't even know what we're talking about. But yeah, no, basketball is very, very popular. And I will go on record and say that out of all of the live games that I've been to, baseball, football, basketball has been my favorite by far. I love seeing the basketball games, the way they go back and forth, the fast points, at least if it's a good game, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You know, Narin is a famous basketball player.
Oh, no, no.
Really? Really? Wow.
why do you bring that? I mean, I'm not that really good though. in basketball.
Ladies, if you were turned away the first time, think again. Famous basketball player
I
here.
mean, I'm not a big fan of I'm a big fan of basketball, but I don't know. And just like good, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, trying to be humble over here. He's like, I'm all right. I'm okay.
truthfully not.
Actually, in the nations, one of the biggest sport is football. So when you come out here, it's impossible you meet a person who doesn't know anything about Indonesian football.
I see.
Yeah, because I don't know why, but we here all very love of football. Maybe because we see an amazing things in football, not just the how the players play the football, but how the supporters come and support their team with their creativity that make a song. So that what makes they love football, I think. And I think one clubs maybe have about 30,000 30,000 fans like that, and sometimes they would like do something, yeah, because of their love to their team like that.
Of
So
course.
they didn't want to they didn't want their team to get a bad result in the competition, so that they do that things. And until now we still have I don't say it's a bad football, but I don't say it's a good football too. So we just
They're
have
maniacs.
we just have like a transitions, because in the past we didn't have good footballs like that. But
Reputation, though.
yeah, but you know, because of that, there's so many accident like that, because how our peoples very love the footballs, but the one who control the football teams in here in the past, they have not good, he doesn't good to control their football. So there's so many accidents happen in here, but after we have transitions, a new anthem, we have a new
New era.
yeah, new era, we call that.
Of,
So
hopefully
there's
it's gonna
so
be
big transitions like that to make our football become better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. In his name we
Maybe
pray. Amen.
someday we will see Indonesian versus US.
Yes,
There
for
you
sure.
go.
That's what I want to
Yes.
see.
Oh yeah.
Indonesian versus US. Wait, was there any like United States player? You know?
Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, Pulisic in
Mm.
Chelsea.
Yes.
He played for Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big team in England.
Yes. But I think he already moved to another.
Oh, I see.
I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah, US has that pride. Players.
Yes.
All right. Go USA. And that's a controversial statement, but yeah, got to be proud of where you come from sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah. I think this one's a safe topic.
And you know, the most curious thing that I ever think about is that why NFL called football, but they always use hand.
So
Yes.
So here's the thing that I've read. I don't know. I know I'm a history major, but I don't know if this is true. From what I understand, football was originally, what we know as soccer, but it was actually a couple different games when it was like unregulated, or it's just kind of, when you call it one thing but a bunch of people have different versions because it's still local. Yeah. So you had association football, which is the football that and then you had rugby football, which is the one where you carry the stuff in your hands and all that. And as England has done in the past, where it went around the world and exported a lot of its culture, there was confusion and change between the terminology of the two. So in a couple different places, and I think it started in England, but they changed to football later, they called association football soccer because they were shortening association. So, I'm sure and take the A off, take one of the S's off, and then, a sock, S-O-C, soccer. They just shortened it. Instead of association football, they're just like soccer.
So it's like association without the A. Association, but soccer.
That's what I've heard, but again, that could be misinformation. I don't know. And then whereas like in places like the U.S., so of course we had that term. We took rugby football and then we just dropped the rugby. So one was soccer and the other was football. Elsewhere in the Anglosphere, they did the opposite, where they dropped the football and kept the rugby, and then they switched from soccer to football, or maybe football was more popular and soccer just died off. But it was just chance and different nicknames that spread.
Soccer is a lot. I mean, football looks fun, but not for playing. But to watch it.
Oh, it's fun to play. Didn't you like? Did you not do?
I did. I was I was the linebacker. I did the linebacker, and it was horrible. And then I went through the wide receiver, the catcher. So I did that, the catcher. Also, that's terrible. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted with that. I'm choosing back into what is it called? Like person who's just defending behind the line.
Okay.
Yeah,
A defensive line, is that? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
Truthfully,
like
I don't know sports.
The most part of this one.
So let's just pause in and keep track here. Ladies, not only can he dance,
No.
not only can he play basketball, he can also play football.
Yes.
He's take that first comment away. Look at him now.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. That football is kind of it's not weird. Like it's I would say distinguished one.
It's American football is different. I think that's why so many kids enjoyed it. When we did the American Cultural Days, I brought 2 American footballs for that reason. Not because I was like, oh, they're going to be big fans of American football. No. It's because I was like, they probably do not play with American footballs very often, nor do I. But this would be a good chance for us to, have a nice cultural exchange. So I was, I noticed that, a lot of the folks over here really took a liking to the uniqueness of the sport. And I thought that was really cool. Also, before we get off the sports topic, I just want to say best basketball player I know is my little brother. Just had to shout him out, Cole, if you ever see this. I never, just know.
May I know, like, who's his name?
Oh, my little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cole Kittle.
Cole Kittle.
Yeah.
Kittle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait to be the superstars.
Oh, yeah. You guys are going to see him play
Drafted.
NBA. Oh, for sure. He is best basketball player I know, and I believe he's just going to continue to impress. So I called it here.
So you will play with Narin in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to face off.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the bench.
Not in the bench.
Not in the bench.
No.
Yeah, you can.
You can at
Be a
least...
supporter.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm the big one.
somebody's going to need to grab the water.
Well, I mean, sport always makes people happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's key to, to human culture. It's key to most societies, and that's how I know that I'm a weirdo, because I just refrain from all sports.
I mean, at least you did.
Yes.
Yeah, my one summer of Pee-wee football made me just as sporty as everybody else.
Really?
Yeah, I was in summer between 4th and 5th grade, so I was like 9, and I played football, and that was like the only sport I ever played, just because my dad made me. But it ended up being a good time, Dad. I'm not mad. I just, but yeah.
That's cool. When I was 9 years old, I just want to sleep.
No, that was me at 19. Probably later at 29.
But after you being here doing the fun camping,
Yeah.
so this is we call it fun camping. So
Mhm.
not the summer camp, but the fun camping. The last week that we did.
Oh, the wait,
Yeah.
tents and all that.
Yeah, this
Mhm.
is our third day.
Yeah.
So how do you feel?
Tired. As I spoke about at the beginning of this podcast, I had a nap right before this, impromptu nap, but much needed, and that was because we wake up at around 3 a.m. every day after going to bed at the earliest of 10 p.m. maybe.
Yes, the earliest.
The earliest. Past 2 nights. Yeah. I don't even think my kids want me there. I just show up and they're like, "All right, make room for Mr. Mateo." Yeah.
And yeah, I see that you follow the night event we call Caraka Malam.
Yeah, I did do the Jaraka Malam last night.
Do you see like something we call
Ghost.
ghost or we call pocong?
Pocong.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw a couple different ghosts actually. No, for real. Yeah, they looked oddly like bags hanging from trees, but
Yes.
I saw at least 3 of them.
So how do you feel?
What do you feel like?
Actually, I'm shocked. Actually,
How did I feel?
Yes.
I felt like I was I felt like I learned a lot about about Indonesian culture that night because all of my students seemed to recognize the bags as ghosts, as I did not know that was a thing. I really didn't.
oh yeah, we have a
Different
different
ghosts.
ghost.
Yeah. And there was the other thing before I even joined on the what do you say, Charakalam?
Caraka Malam.
Jaraka Malam.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Gotta practice my terminology whenever I can. I had some teachers ask, they're like, "Are you scared of ghosts?" And I was like, No. And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe in the U.S., but here, I don't even know what they're gonna be saying. They're gonna come up to me. They're gonna speak Bahasa instead of going, I'm gonna have to say what?"
That's true.
So one of the routes for the Caraka Malam is go into the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you see your partner or your partner feels like panics like that, or you also feel panic when you come to the graveyard.
Well, I'll tell you what, I couldn't see much of anything as how dark it was, but yeah, definitely the students I was with were a bit more worried. They were, now they some of them knew from the year prior that it can be pretty scary during this event, so they knew what was coming, but they were shaking a little bit. And one of them unfortunately had like an eyesight problem, so he was I know your name, I just been trying not to call you out. So sorry if you wanted to be name dropped, just in case you don't, I'm not going to, but he was like, "Man, I really can't see right now." He's like, "I can't see normally and it's dark." So yeah, it did not help that there was a lot of backup in the lines because we go in different groups, like shifts, and so we eventually were like, joined up with another group, and as we're walking, another group is far ahead of us, so we're like, okay, we'll join up with them, and then from around a bush they came out, and got us pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. They like, all right, you got us. But yeah.
Zefa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Zefa, I got you.
And so what we did in the first day. Oh, I don't follow the first. So this day we do the adventures, or we say jelajah.
Yes.
That we walk through the
Path.
and then it's a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel?
Well, again, right off the bat, I didn't realize that it also continued from 1 to 2. I think it was 1 to 3, actually. So that whole portion I missed because I was, again, sleeping. My bad, everybody. But for the portion that I did see, I was pretty entertaining. I think a lot of the kids had fun. I had fun watching and participating. So, I was at a station where all of the kids had to do a performance known as Yell Yell.
Oh yeah.
And that was a lot of fun because I was the person they had to report to. So I got to stand there, and then they would come up to me
Yeah.
and do their normal salute as you would
Yes.
every morning, except I was doing it in English, and a lot of them didn't know the stand at attention, at ease. They know like "Sapgrat," or how is it? Is it
Yes,
really?
yes,
Yeah,
siap gerak.
yeah, I hear it every day now. So I would say it in English, and they'd be like, and then I'd show them, and they're like, oh, so that was cool. And then everybody had a great yell. It was so hard to judge like scores because everybody was doing so good. There were some that were really funny. I want to shout out, which one was it? Was it group? It might have been group 6. I don't know.
Five.
It might have been group 5.
That's my group.
It was it. Yeah.
With
Where-
the hat one.
There was one where at the very end they spelled out.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's my
that's
group.
his
That's
group.
my
Alright.
group. Sanjaya.
You don't understand. For those of you watching, it was immaculate. It was, they spelled it out with their bodies, and then at the very end, each person on each end of the human word did a heart with their bodies. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Not to say anybody else was any lesser, but that was very unique and unexpected.
Yeah.
So,
That's,
nice job to you,
yes,
man.
thank you very much, sir. So we made it 2 hours before.
I know.
Yeah,
There you
2
go.
hours before we do the adventure.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Mm.
We used to do that.
5 minutes.
Minutes left.
Well, the rest of the adventure was cool. Got into a river, got river
Yeah.
water in my eye. So if this is pink tomorrow, you know why. But that was a lot of fun. Never found the coins. We had like 6 coins in the river. Couldn't find a single one.
Banano. You should watch this.
But for the last few minutes, guys, do you have anything particular you wanted to talk about?
Hasan, please.
Okay, thank you, Narin, for giving your time for me. So, oh yeah, in the second day we do visitations to Yogyakarta.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the Kraton,
Yeah, Keraton, and then we go to
Museum Dirgantara.
I see.
We
Yeah.
follow that both.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was there.
so I just want to ask about the Dirgantara Museum.
oh yeah.
The Dirgantara Museum.
That one that's full of plants.
Yeah.
How do you feel to see that?
Well, as a history major, it was
Yes.
inherently interesting, right? Like just to see the different history. Aerospace is not my normal area of expertise or interest, but it was still very interesting nonetheless. We got greeted right at the gate by I don't know their title, but it was a man in a blue uniform, and he was in a military hat, and everybody, all of you guys, stood at attention and greeted him, and then listened to a speech by him. So I imagine he's pretty important. Yeah. So we shook his hand, and then he took us into the museum, and he actually gave me and Mr. Lempa a private tour guide, another man in a blue uniform, and they walked us through the whole museum. He told us piece by piece every single thing, and I actually learned a lot about Indonesian aerospace or aeronautics, or I don't know what Air Force, I guess would be the best way to put it. Air Force history. And the influences from both the Japanese and the Dutch, the first airplanes ever made in Indonesia, which were made with motorcycle engines and VW engines. It was pretty crazy that those worked, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. We got to see the first plane ever flown by Indonesians, like by the Indonesians proper, not the Dutch who were here, the Japanese who were here. And then just the progress that came right after. So that was, all of that was fascinating, but of course the private tour was much appreciated. Again, another example of just the kindness and respect I've been given here by everybody, whether it be random people in the street or full-on military officers. So everybody here has been just incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if I may say something before we call it quits, if we've got the time. Before we started this podcast, they kind of briefed me and said, this is what we're going to be talking about roughly. So they were doing me a favor. I didn't want to look dumb. But one of the things that we didn't get to talk about that I wanted to prep for was why we're here, like why the NIU team was here to start with, why I'm here. And I have my own personal reasons to be here now that I've been here. But originally the plan was to have a cultural exchange. That was the biggest thing, you know. We're here to teach, we had specific things to teach, and we knew that the schedule is going to be changed frequently. And I believe that you can back me up and say that it has. Yeah, but
Always.
but that was the idea. The idea from the start was to have a cultural exchange, to understand the students and the teachers and the people, and then to represent ourselves in that same manner, both as individuals and as a collective. And I think that, for me at least, we've really gotten to accomplish that. I've seen so much here, and I've explained to many people prior to this trip, Indonesia didn't hold a place in my brain that was very like in the front, right? Like I think of countries, and the first ones that pop up are like the UK, France, China, Japan. You know, major names and players on the world stage. And I guess for me, Indonesia was not there, if just in my head. But now it's going to have a permanent place in the front of my brain. And with all the people I've met and all the experiences I've had, it's changed my worldview significantly. And so like I said, I think I can speak for all of the NIU delegates in saying that we really appreciate the opportunity we've been given. I hope that we've accomplished it on your end, but we feel very accomplished on our end in at least feeling the Indonesian culture, and the warmth of everybody here. And hopefully there can be more experiences like this as time goes on. Yeah.
Much appreciated, Mr. Mateo.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
So give big applause for Mr. Mateo. Wow.
The applause is all for you guys. You guys did it all.
So this is why we call the biggest podcast.
Biggest podcast in the world.
Podcast in the world. So, thank you for watching
I
the
think,
podcast.
yeah,
It's gonna be the call.
Yeah, I think it's about 1 hour.
All right.
So yeah, that was a good
Sharing
sharing session.
Happy
So-
to be here, fellas. Happy to be here.
Happy to be with
So thank you, Mr. Mateo.
And we're gonna say goodbye.
Bye. Bye, guys.
See you later.
See you later.